Okay, good morning once again, everyone. So last time, let's have a quick review of what we did last time. We constructed the statement of cash flows for advanced technologies. Okay, and we said that what we need are the balance sheet and income statements for the current year, and then the income statement balance sheet for the previous year. If we have those financial statements, then we can readily compute for or prepare the financial cash flow statement. We said that we first start with the net income after tax and add back to it the depreciation and expense, since these are non-cash expenses. Okay, then we go through the balance sheet, determine changes in your accounts, okay, because we'd like to investigate where the increase, in this case, the increase of 2,250 came from. And okay, it turns out that we were able to plot that, we were able to determine where it came from. Now, just some pointers, some reminders. If you're given net fixed assets, okay, we cannot directly get here the investments in fixed assets. We have to compute for that by tracing the flow. Okay, so let me just adjust this. This is net fixed assets beginning, and then this is net fixed assets end. Okay, using the data from net fixed assets beginning, we trace the flow, said that there will be acquisition, if there's any disposal, and then depreciation in order to arrive at the ending balance. And then we used goal seek last time, okay, this one, in order to compute for the investment in fixed assets. It turns out that the investment in fixed assets is not the same as the difference between your net fixed assets. Okay, we said that we had to adjust this for depreciation. Okay, the difference, and then add depreciation in order to get the acquisition. All right, there was another thing that we missed out on, that was the dividends paid. This has to be accounted for also. All right, once we have completed this template, then it will be easy for us to prepare the formal statement of cash flows. We'll just copy from the elements in our template, in our working paper, okay, and then the three items here: operating, investing, financing. Okay, they should be separated. Okay, so we have these three items here: operating, investing, and financing. Okay, you notice that they're singled out, no? Sa isang column tong tatlong to. They're not mixed with the others. Para kitang-kita kagad natin to. This is cash flow provided, since it's positive. This is cash flow used by investing, since it's a net outflow. And then cash flow used also, since this is negative. When we add these three, we get 2250, which should be equal to the change in cash. Okay, this one, 2250. Okay, and then we add back the beginning cash balance to get the ending cash balance. Okay, so this is our statement of cash flows. Now, I will leave to you first to prepare the statement of retained earnings, because there are two things that are asked from us here: statement of cash flows and statement of retained earnings. Okay, as an exercise, try to do that first, and then we'll compare notes next meeting. Okay, in the meantime, let's cover this first, the remaining part of our lesson. Okay, there are some measures here that you will have to also compute for your paper, for your project. Okay, first is net operating working capital. Okay, what is net operating working capital? By definition, net, when you say net, guys, let me use my digital pen. When you say net, di ba may sinasubtract tayo nun, no? Okay, may sinasubtract tayo. So let me just... Okay. Generally, guys, pag sinabi natin, let me define first, working capital. What's working capital? Pag sinabing working capital, there are different authors use this differently, no? But generally, pag sinabi natin working capital, that refers to your current assets. Okay? I've seen some use working capital as a difference between current assets and current liabilities. But we'll stick to this definition. When we say working capital, it's your current assets, and then net working capital, this will be your current assets minus current liabilities. Kasi pag net, di ba guys, may sinasubtract tayo. Okay? Net income, for example. So that's obtained by getting your revenues less all the expenses. Okay. Now we have a different measure here. It's net net operating. Okay, meron tayong na dagdag na operating, net operating working capital. Okay, so anong difference ng net working capital sa net operating working capital? Pag sinabi na natin net working capital, it includes all current assets. Okay, it includes all current assets minus all current liabilities. Pag sinabing operating, guys, okay, it only makes use of the operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. Ibig sabihin, guys, hindi natin sinasama yung current assets na may be the function of finance. No? Hindi natin sinasama yon. Okay? Kasi hindi siya part of operations. Walang control ng operations doon. It's more the role, it's more the control of finance. No? So pag sinabi natin NOWC, it's your operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. Let's first survey our FS. No? Tignan natin yung current assets natin. So we have 4 current assets here: cash, short-term investments, accounts receivable, and inventories. Of these 4, these are all your current assets, guys. No? This is your working capital. This is your current assets. Pero ang tanong, sino-sino dito yung operating current assets? Sino yung operating current assets dito? Okay, ang operating current assets natin will exclude short-term investments. Okay, so everything here except for short-term investments kasi finance ano to, no? Finance controlled. Okay, so it's cash, AR, and inventories. So that will be your operating current assets. Now let's take a look at current liabilities. So lahat to, guys, itong tatlong to, current liabilities to. Pero ang tanong, sino-sino dito yung operating current liabilities? Ang operating current liabilities, guys, hindi kasama si notes payable kasi interest bearing to. No? Ang kasama lang si accounts payable and also accruals. Okay? So yun yung kasama natin sa operating current assets at saka operating current liabilities. Okay. So let's now solve for that. Okay. Our operating current assets will be i-sum up natin. Sino-sino isa-sum up natin? Sa 2020, okay, andito si cash, no? Cash, comma, AR and inventory. Okay, so that's our operating current assets. Control Enter. Okay. And while we're here, guys, pwede ba natin makopy itong formula na to the right? Yes or no? Paki-chat nga, please.
Ay.
Yes, yeah. Correct. No, pwede natin i-copy kasi, okay, magka-column naman yung 2020 at saka 2019. Okay? Pag kinopy natin to the right, lilipat lang siya dito, which is what we need. Okay? So I specifically did it this way para madali nating ma-copy yung mga formulas. No? So let's copy this to the right. Okay. So ang operating current assets natin in 2020 is 472,500. In 2019, it was 450. So nadagdagan yung operating current assets natin. No? And then, how about our operating current liabilities? Again, we sum this up. Dalawa lang yung operating current liabilities natin, which is accounts payable and accruals. Hindi kasama si notes payable. Okay? There. And could we also copy this to the right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. So, tapos, pwede nating lagyan to ng ano na lang, ng home, lagyan natin ng top and bottom. Yan. Okay, so what will be our NOWC? It will be equal to this operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. There you go. Okay. Any questions so far, guys?
None po.
Okay. Clear? How about the rest, guys, so far? Pause muna ako kasi baka may I suggest that you also work on this already, guys. I-ano nyo na, i-follow along. So hindi ako magmamadali kasi alam kong you listen and then you do it, no? So I'll give you a few more seconds. I'd like to encourage you guys, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. Kasi pag kunyari lumayo na tayo ng lumayo tapos may mga questions pala kayo dun sa sa ibang items na discussion natin, baka mas magpatong-patong na, guys, no? Okay.
Your question,
Yes,
just
sige.
a bit confused pa. So
Yeah.
the operating current assets, tsaka yung current assets, iba pa yan?
Oo,
Like,
oo. Yeah, sige.
okay.
Continue.
So, pero what we sold right now, that's the net operating working capital.
Yes, oo. Thank you for that question. Sino to?
This is Marco.
Marco? Okay.
Pero what's the difference po for operating current assets and just the current assets?
Okay. Ang operating current assets, by the way, Marco, thank you so much for the question. No? Ang operating current assets, guys, ang kasama lang dyan, yung mga current assets under the quote-unquote control of operations. No? Kaya nga operating current assets. Kasi ang gagawin natin dito, i-assess natin yung performance ng operations. Kung okay ba yung performance nila. Okay? So, hindi natin pwedeng isama yung short-term investments kasi wala naman silang control doon, di ba? Parang unfair. Kunyari tayo yung operations, tapos i-assess yung performance natin. Gusto ng management malaman kung how well we have used the resources at our disposal. So, itong short-term investment na to, this is not operations. No? So, in fact, yung increase ito, pinapasok natin sa financing. So, we would like to assess, okay, binigyan tayo ng operating na current assets, anong profit ang na-generate natin out of that. Okay, so that's the idea here, no? Okay, so let me repeat that, guys. Yung current assets natin, kasama lahat ng current assets. Cash, short-term investments or marketable securities, receivables, inventory, and prepayments. Okay? Pag operating naman, usually hindi kasama diyan yung marketable securities or short-term investments, hindi kasama. Ganun din, guys, sa current liabilities. Okay? Pag sinabi natin current liabilities, lahat ng current liabilities. Pero pag sinabi natin operating current liabilities, we will have to remove any interest-bearing na current liabilities. In this case, guys, si accounts payable, operating yan kasi that's generated from day-to-day operations. Trade, trade credit, no, na binibigay ng mga suppliers natin. Accruals, yes, it's generated in the ordinary course of business. Okay? Gumamit ng kuryente. Nag-hire ng mga empleyado, salaries, no? So these are, kunyari, salaries payable, kasi expense na to na hindi pa natin nababayaran. Okay? Ito notes payable, ito yung interest bearing, kaya hindi siya papasok sa operating current liabilities. Okay? So, ang current assets minus current liabilities, we call it net working capital. Pag dinagdagan na natin ng operating na descriptor na operating current assets at saka operating current liabilities, yung pangalan natin nagiging na net operating working capital as distinguished from net working capital. Okay? Did that answer your question, Marco?
Yes, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. Okay, so we move forward guys. Notice na yung NOWC natin nag-increase ng 2020. Ibig sabihin, management operations was provided more capital noong 2020. Okay, more operating working capital. Nadagdagan yung pwede nilang gamitin as operating working capital. Okay, let's now compute for TOC or TNOC, but it's TOC to shortcut, total operating capital. So total operating capital is simply your NOWC plus your, dapat ito guys, net, no? Ano na lang, no? Plus your net fixed assets. So we'll be using the net fixed assets. Okay. So how do we compute for the total net operating working capital? So it's simply magkano yung NOWC natin plus your net fixed assets. Okay, so let's compute for 2020. Alam na natin yung NOWC natin, ito. Okay, then our net fixed assets, we can get it from our balance sheet above. So this is our net fixed assets. Okay. Okay guys, nagkataon lang na pareho to So it's not something that usually happens. Nagkataon lang sa example na to pareho yung NOWC natin at saka net fixed assets. Okay, therefore our TOC will be equal to just the sum of this. So 661,500. Then we can now copy this to the right kasi pareho naman yung placements ng ano natin. Yan. So coincidental lang guys nagkapareho yung ano nila, yung NOWC at saka fixed assets. Of course, it doesn't happen really, no? In practice, ano lang to, this is just the probability for this to happen in real life is really practically zero. No? Okay, any questions guys about TOC?
None po.
Okay, good. So clear tayo Okay, now we'd like to know guys, magkano yung investment in TOC? Kasi nung 2019 it was 630, then in 2020 naging naging 661. So we just compute for the difference between the two. No? TOC natin nung 2020 is 661. Ba't lumiit ito? Dali Okay. TOC natin in 2020 is 661. Okay, TOC in 2019 is 630. Therefore, how much was invested? So it's just the difference between the two. Yan. So this was the investment in total operating capital. Okay, pause ulit ako guys. I'll give you time to do your worksheets. Questions? Questions so far? So pretty straightforward. Okay, good. Pretty straightforward naman guys yung Pretty straightforward naman yung pag-compute ng net operating working capital. Review natin, which is just equal to operating current assets minus operating current liabilities. Pag sinabi natin operating guys, tatanggalin natin yung mga interest bearing. For example, sa current assets, hindi natin isasama si marketable securities. Sa operating current liabilities naman, kung may mga notes payable, no? Okay, hindi natin isasama yan. Okay, so we get the operating current assets and then subtract the operating current liabilities. We now have your net operating working capital. Then to the NOWC, we add the net fixed assets to get the total operating capital or total net operating capital. Some call this TNOC, some call it TOC, pero pareho lang yan. Okay. Then to compute for the investment in total operating capital, we just get the difference. Okay, by how much did our total operating capital increase? So we just subtract yung TOC natin ng 2020 to the TOC in 2019. In this case, there was an increase of 31,500. Actually, 31 million yan, no? Okay, now we compute for the NOPAT. Okay, this is a very important concept. Kasi so far, ang alam pa lang natin yung NIAT, no? Net income after tax and net operating profit after tax. Okay, so in a nutshell, ano ba yung difference nila? Ano ba yung difference sa net income after tax sa net operating profit after tax? Okay, so let's plot the difference, no? Okay, let's start with NIAT, net income after tax. We have this actually already, no? So let's start with EBIT. We just get it from the income statement above. Okay, ito yung EBIT natin, no? We will start with this one, EBIT. Okay, so that's 99, 200, ano ko lang siya. Okay, 99,200. Okay, after we get our EBIT, di ba, earnings before interest and taxes, syempre, ang susunod na tatanggalin dyan yung interest. No? And we have that figure, nasa taas din yan. We just get that here. Interest expense is 10,470. Okay? I'm gonna cheat a bit here, guys. Okay, sige, mamaya na. Then, of course, we know that this is, to get your EBT, we just subtract. No? It's equal to this minus this, which should be the same above. No? Okay? Earnings before tax. And then, siguro lagyan natin ng tax dito, guys. Mag-insert tayo dito. No? Insert. So we have our tax here. Tax. Our tax will be at, lagay natin dito, sige, ipeg na lang natin dito, is equal to this. Nalagyan ba natin ang pangalan yung ano? Okay. Did I teach you how to give names to cells, special cells in Excel? Have I taught that to you?
Not yet po
Not
ata.
yet. Okay, not yet. Good, sige. Sometimes, mas maganda guys kung yung mga absolutes, no? Kunyari, tax rate, absolute yan eh. Hindi nagbabago yan, no? Or other items, no? Ano pa ba dito pwede hindi magbago? Okay, basta absolute guys, yung not likely to change over time. So example, yung tax rate na to, no? Not likely to change over time to, a good practice will be, yung mga absolutes guys, linalagay natin dyan sa, kunyari, sa unang-unang part ng Excel. No? Mga absolutes, mga absolute values. Para naka-ano lang siya doon, naka-set aside siya doon, so that it's very easy to access that. Okay? So, for example, for this one, I'd like to give this a name kasi pag ginawa ko dito yan, kunyari, no? Dito, is equal to this one times, ililink ko pa dito, di ba? Ililink ko siya dito. Yan, F48, no? Okay, but if that's an absolute, maybe it's a good idea to give that a name. Okay, sige, let me explain quickly, no? Okay, this is one of the, let's say, quick, good tools in Excel. Okay, itong F38 na to, can you see guys? What do you call this place, guys? Alam niyo ba may pangalan to? Anyone who knows this name? Okay. It's called the name box yan, guys. Nakita niyo. Name box yan. Okay, paki-chat nga guys kung nakita niyo yung name box. Yan.
Yes po.
Okay. The rest guys, clear sa atin to na name box to. Okay, gagamitin natin yan throughout the term. No? Ito, makikita niyo yung importance ng name box. Okay, so ang pangalan nito, it has a name, F48. But actually, we can change that name. No? Kasi napaka-unintuitive nito eh. F48, so ano yung F48 na yan? Basta sa F48, andyan dyan si tax rate na 40%. So why not change the name, no? Para mas intuitive. Okay, so I'm going to change this name. How do I change this name? There are several ways to do it. One of the easiest is go to the name box. No? Okay, so let's type tax rate. Okay, so dapat isang word lang guys ha. Kung gusto niyo may separate yan, maglalagay tayo ng kunyari ng underscore, no? Tax rate. But let me just use one word. You cannot use several words for a name. Okay, so instead of F48, I want this cell to be called tax rate, and then press enter. Okay, have you done that, guys?
Yes po.
Okay, so pagpunta nyo dito, tingnan nyo, may pangalan na siya, di ba? May pangalan na siya. We have given it a name, and the name is tax rate. Now, this is very important kasi, kunyari, let's suppose we're in this cell, dito tayo sa malayo dito, no? Tapos kailangan ko yung anong yon, yung cell na yon, yung 40%. So, ang gagawin natin, usually, di ba, is equal to, tapos, hahanapin natin kung asan yon. Di ba? Saka natin i-link dito. Okay? And what's worse, guys, kunyari, andito tayo sa another worksheet. Okay? And then, kailangan ko yun, no? Kailangan ko yung 40% na yon. So, pupunta pa ako dun sa worksheet na to. Hahanapin ko dito. No? Okay. Okay, but again, guys, what's the use of giving it a name range? For easier access, no? Okay, so let me illustrate that here. So ang tax natin is equal to the earnings before tax, multiply that by, without me going to that cell, and kung alam ko guys yung pangalan na tax rate, I'll just type, for example, T. Pag tinype ko yung T, guys, lalabas yung mga functions, no? And here is as a name, no? See, guys, itong tax rate na to. Okay, so if I go down here, arrow down, and then that one, kita yung tax rate, and then tab, pag tinab ko siya, yun. Okay, lalabas yung tax rate na pangalan, which is linked to yung F38. Which is a convenient way to do it really, no? Okay, pause muna ako. Any questions, guys?
Ano po?
Okay. Yung iba, guys, paki-chat naman kung clear so far. Yung paggamit ng name box. Okay, thank you. And what's good, guys, is that alam natin na tama yung inuna natin kasi alam natin na binigyan natin ng pangalan yon, tax rate, no? So that becomes very convenient for us, no? Okay. And as I said, guys, answer ko muna. If I was here in another cell, in another worksheet, tapos kailangan ko yon, guys, type ko lang is equal to, yan, lalabas din yun, no? Instead of us going to that sheet, tab natin, ayan, di ba? 40%. Okay? So we were able to access that. Yung name na yan, guys, you can use that anywhere in the worksheets. Kunyari may 100 worksheets ka, tapos kailangan mo yung tax rate na yun, anywhere you are in this Excel workbook, ma-access mo yung tax rate na yun. Okay? So therefore, our net income after tax is this one minus this one, and we know that it should be 53,238. Double ko na lang. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to cheat a bit, guys. Cheat ako kasi para makopy ko dito, ano. Let me see. Control C, Control V, hindi pa pwede. Control Z. Okay. Gagawin ko lang, guys, i-copy to the right ko to. Okay. So this will be for 2019. Sorry tama ba? 94,500 yung EBIT natin for 2019. Ayan, tama. Then 86. Okay, sandali, baka may question. Okay, thank you, Syra. So, kinapi to the right ko, and then minove ko na lang yung minove ko dito sa net income after tax ng 2019. Tama ba, guys? Ang niyat natin, net income after tax for 2019 is 51,540. Yan, tama. Okay? All right. So that takes care of the net income after tax for 2020 at saka 2019. Alam na natin yan, no? We know how to get that. We know how that was solved. Now, the concept of net operating after tax, ano yun? Ang kaibahan nito guys, yung operating dito. Okay, net operating profit after tax. Now, if you take a look at this guys, may item ba dito na ano na walang control si ano, si operations? Dito sa income statement natin dito, this abbreviated income statement. What item there guys, walang control ang ano, ang operations? Yes. Tax, tax, in a sense, meron din kasi pag hindi maganda yung performance niya, no? Yung tax talagang inevitable na yan, no? Talagang magbabawas talaga ng tax kasi government required yan eh. Okay? Thank you, Sire, for your answer. But it's not tax, no? So ano kaya yun? Anyone, guys? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Erwin. It's interest, di ba? Kasi ang interest, paano na-generate yan? Mangungutang, di ba? Eh, hindi controlled ng operations yan. Financing activity yan eh. Di ba? So, parang ganito guys, no? Parang responsibility accounting. Okay, bakit nyo kami i-charge sa interest? Eh, wala naman kaming control doon. Okay, suppose guys, yung interest expense was 1 million. Okay? Would you think fair yun na kakargayin dito interest expense na 1 million, ibabawas sa EBIT? Eh, di wala na matitira guys sa ano, sa operating performance. You get me, guys? Get me? Eh, controlled ng ano yun, ng financing. So, yung NOPAT guys, we are computing for the operating profit and we will not charge to operations yung interest expense kasi hindi nila ano yun guys, no? Hindi nila cargo yun. They're not responsible for that. Okay, so let me illustrate that. We start with EBIT. Okay, so EBIT to, no? Ilagyan ko na lang ng kulay dito para ma-distinguish natin. Okay, so we start with EBIT and then we will not charge interest to operations. Yun. So, isi-zero out natin yan kasi sabi nga natin, wala namang control ang operations yan sa interest. Okay? So, therefore, our EBT will now be just the difference of these two. And then our tax rate, we can actually copy this. Okay? Yan kagandahan guys sa naka-name, no? Kasi pag kinapi mo yan, hindi magbabago tong tax rate na yan. Yung pa rin yan. Okay? And then we can now get the difference to get your NOPAT. Okay. So pause muna ako. I'll give you a few seconds to work on that. And pag okay na kayo guys, pag nagawa nyo na, paki chat na lang. Gawin na rin natin tong for 2019. So EBIT natin for 2019, 94,500. Okay, ba't naging ganyan yung format niya? Format painter. Yan. Interest, 0 din. So this would be equal to, pareho lang naman yan. Okay, pwede natin i-copy to. When you're done guys, paki-chat, no? Done, para continue ko na yung discussion. Thank you Erin by the way dun sa interest na answer. Thank you Syra. The rest, I'll wait for you to say you're done. Kyla, thank you. I'm waiting for the others. The rest, guys, okay na? If you're done, guys, pakilagay na lang na done na, ha? Para ano, if you have questions, please feel free to raise it up now. Thank you, Marco. Okay, Kendrick, thank you. Yung iba, I only see four responses here. Okay, Erin, salamat din. Okay, Charmaine, yan, thank you. Okay, Janela, very good, guys. Salamat talaga sa ano sa mga responses nyo. Joanne, salamat. Okay. A few more, guys. Okay, Ariana, thank you. Meron pa ba magre-reply, magre-respond? Okay, Jobel, salamat. Kathleen, salamat. Okay, I think just a little more, guys. No? Sana makalampas ng 50%. Yan. Tyler, salamat. Okay, very good, very good. I hope, guys, you're working also on your worksheet, your workbook. Kasi iba din yung kayo yung mismo din gumagawa, no? Para makikita nyo, kunyari pag may mali, then you can already ask some questions about it. Okay, a few more seconds, guys, before I proceed. Sana may madagdagan pa to, no? So I think nakaka 50% pa lang tayo. Okay, any more? I forgot to tell you guys that it's imperative that you follow along with the Excel worksheet that you were provided with, because nothing will replace you yourselves keying in the values. Okay, so let's continue, guys. No? Let's analyze this. Okay, take note that the difference between NOPAT and NIAT is that for NOPAT we don't subtract the interest expense, because that's not the role of operations. It will be unfair, quote unquote, if we charge interest to assess yung profitability ng or the performance of operations, kasi wala naman silang hindi nila kontrolado, no? As I was saying a while ago, what if the interest expense was 1 million? Di totally wipe out kagad yung EBIT natin, no? Kung minus natin ng 1 million yan, patay na. Negative na lahat yan. Okay, so the difference now between the EBT for net income after tax and NOPAT is simply the interest. So mas mataas yung earnings before tax ni NOPAT. And because of that, guys, mas mataas yung tax ni NOPAT. To the tune of the difference between this one and this one is 4188. Saan nagaling, guys, yung 4188 na yan? Saan nagaling yung 4188 na yan? Anyone? Can somebody please tell me where that 4188 came from?
Sir, the difference between tax?
Yeah, yes. The difference between tax. Saan kaya nagaling yan? Yung 4188. So we subtracted the difference, we got the difference between NOPAT at saka NIAT, no? Yung taxes nila. Turns out 4188. So let's analyze that. Saan ba nanggaling yan? That comes from anyone, guys? It would be good to analyze that kung ano yung saan nanggaling yung, let me reposition this. Okay, sandali. So, di ba guys, ito yung ano? Okay, ito yung ano, let's say this is the interest. The interest is 10,470. That's the interest, no? Okay. Now, what happened here, guys? Kasi hindi natin binawas yung interest dito, no? So our earnings before tax here is 99,200. Ito 88,730. So mas mataas yung earnings before tax natin sa NOPAT because we did not subtract the interest expense. Okay? So dapat iisipin natin, so dapat ang lamang ng NOPAT sa NIAT should be 10,470. Yun ba ang lamang advantage ng NOPAT kaysa sa NIAT? Yun ba?
No po.
No. Ilan yung lamang ni NOPAT over NIAT? We just subtract this, no?
6,282.
Yes, correct. 6,282. It's not 10,470, guys. It's not 10,470. Ang lamang lang ni NOPAT kay NIAT is 6,282. Okay, ano nangyari? Saan napunta yung iba? Kasi you might be thinking, dapat ang lamang din ni NOPAT kay NIAT should be 10,470. Kasi nga, yung 10,470, which is your interest expense, hindi natin charge sa NOPAT. Why did it become 6,282 only? Okay, Shaira, interest, okay? All right. Napunta sa tax. Okay, that's correct, no? Shaira, paki-share sa to everybody. Okay. Napunta sa tax. Okay. So if you notice, guys, mas malaki yung tax ni NOPAT, no? Mas malaki yung tax ni NOPAT kaysa kay NIAT, no? And the difference is 4188. Now this is because, no, yung interest expense natin, guys, it reduces the taxable amount. Kasi ito yung taxable amount, no? Mas malaking taxable amount ni NOPAT kaysa kay NIAT. So yung tax ni NIAT mas maliit. So in other words, guys, nagkaroon tayo ng what do we have, guys, with the interest expense? There's what we call tax savings. Okay. So later on pag-uusapan pa natin 'to, no? Pero I'd like to at this point to tell you that the use of debt, no? Ang pag-utang ng debt, nakakatulong 'yan kasi nababawasan, nagkakaroon tayo ng tax savings. Okay? That's why, guys, the use of debt is called a leverage. Leverage. Okay? Leverage yan. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na financial leverage. No? Financial leverage. Ano yung financial leverage? In a sense, it increases the profit because you're using debt. So yung interest expense, okay, it has its use. No? It has its use. Later on, guys, papakita ko sa inyo na yung paggamit ng interest, may purpose yan. Aside from the fact that it it raises the credit standing of the company, especially kung nakakabayad. Also, as discussed before, hindi naman sa lahat ng pagkakataon sufficient yung cash ng company. So kung may mga magandang projects, tapos it's too good to to ignore, tapos hindi sufficient yung funds ng company, so mas maganda talaga umuutang, no? In order to finance the project. And the use of debt, guys, has of course will generate interest, and the use of interest has tax implications. Okay, so nakita natin si net income after tax, bumaba yung tax niya as compared to kung walang utang. So imagine a scenario, guys, na hindi nangutang yung company, no? Okay, so interest na zero, mataas yung earnings before tax niya, pero mas malaki yung babayaran niya na tax. Although ultimately sa baba, no, mas mataas yung NOPAT kaysa kay NIAT. Pero ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, guys, yung the use of interest, the use of debt as a leverage. Okay? So itong 10,470 na to, hindi lahat yan mapupunta sa sa savings for NOPAT. Kasi yung 40% yan, okay? 40% yan, which is 40% times 10,470, which is 4,188. Okay? Ito yung nagiging tax savings. Okay? Kasi gumamit tayo ng debt. In other words, parang tax penalty to. Penalty for not using debt, no? Na walang interest. Only 60%, guys, ang net effect ngayon. Okay, 60% times 10,470, ito yung 6,282. 60% lang ng total interest ang magiging lamang ni NOPAT kaysa kay NIAT. Okay, is that clear, guys? Paki-chat
Yes.
nga. Okay, the rest, guys, paki-yes or no lang kung clear ba yung sinasabi natin dito. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. How about the rest? Marco, thank you. Erin, salamat. Kendrick, Jobel, yan. Salamat, guys, sa Sofia, Aaron, salamat. Okay, so let me, once again, guys, for the last time, interest expense, no? Ang pinag-uusapan natin, interest expense. So sa NIAT, guys, i-charge natin yan. Okay? When we're computing for net income after tax. Sa NOPAT, hindi natin i-charge yung interest expense kasi nga, hindi naman, ang pinag-uusapan dito natin yung operating profit. Okay? And it will be unfair to charge operations with the interest expense kasi hindi naman nila kontrolado yun. Okay? Bottom line, guys, hindi lahat ng interest, guys, na hindi natin dinagdag, hindi natin binawas sa NOPAT, hindi natin makikita yan dito sa difference ng NIAT at saka sa NOPAT. Okay? It's only 60%, guys. 60% of the interest expense ang magiging lamang ni NOPAT. Kasi yung 40% ibabawas natin kasi magkakaroon ng tax savings si NIAT as compared to NOPAT. Okay? Ganun din dito, guys, no? 8,600. Ilan yung lamang dito ng interest expense? Okay, so mas malaki yung tax na babayaran ni NOPAT, no? Okay? Tapos okay. So if you can see, guys, of the interest expense na 86, 60% lang ng yan, which is 5160, ang magiging lamang advantage ni NOPAT over NIAT, no? Okay, the other 40%, which is the tax rate, will be deducted kasi NIAT now will enjoy tax savings, no? Because of the use of the interest. Okay? I hope that's clear, guys, no? I hope that's clear. So I'll bank on what you said na clear tayo, no? In case you have questions, guys, please feel free. So madali, guys, madali. We can easily determine, guys, kung magiging ilan yung lamang ni NOPAT. Kung alam natin interest, kunyari 10,000 yan. Ang lamang ni NOPAT will be 6,000. Assuming that the tax rate is 40%. Kung 30% yung tax rate, then ang split ng 30-70. Okay, so quick question, for example, ang interest expense 20,000. Ilan yung magiging advantage ng NOPAT over NIAT? Assuming tax rate is 30%. Okay, so what will that be, guys? Sulat ko para mas clear, baka hindi nyo nakuha yung question ko. Sabi natin, ang interest is 20,000. Okay? Tax rate is 30%. Okay, question. Ilan yung tax savings ni Niyat? Ang tax savings siya will be just multiplying 20,000 times 30,000. So the tax savings will be 6,000. Okay? Ibig sabihin, mas malaki yung magiging tax ni Nopat kaysa kay Niyat by 6,000. Ilan ngayon yung magiging lamang ni Nopat kaysa kay Niyat sa bottom line? Okay, it will not be the whole 20,000 na interest. It will only be equal to 14,000, which is the 70%. Okay? In other words, guys, parang ini-split natin tong interest expense na to. This is your interest expense. Okay? Bottom line, mas lamang sinopat ng 20,000 times 70%, 14,000. Bakit hindi 20,000 lahat, guys? Kasi nagkaroon ng tax savings si Niyat by how much? 20,000 times 30%, so that's 6,000. So that accounts for the whole interest expense. Okay? So easily, guys, you'll be able to determine kung ilan yung lamang ni Nopat kaysa kay Niyat. Okay, so what's the importance of Nopat for us? Okay, so that means, guys, that ang ibig sabihin niyan na, okay, may question dito. Depende sa tax rate. Syra, kindly share your question dun sa okay, depende sa tax rate. Kung ang tax rate natin 30%, then 30% yung magiging savings. Kanina yung tax rate natin 40%, so 40% yung naging savings. If tax rate is 25%, then yun ang magiging savings natin, tax savings. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so dito, di ba, plinat out pa natin yung yung NOPAT, no? Para ma-determine natin yung 59,520. We can actually i-shortcut natin, guys, kung paano natin makukuha si NOPAT. So it's just the EBIT less the tax, di ba? Kung titingnan natin to, guys, EBIT less the tax, that will be your NOPAT. So this is the formula. Okay, take a look at the formula. Ng NOPAT is equal to EBIT times 1 minus tax rate. Okay, ibig sabihin, tatanggalin natin yung, ibabawas natin tax rate. No? If the tax rate was 40% in our case, so 1 minus tax rate, that's 1 minus 40%. Ang matitira na lang sa NOPAT is 60% of your EBIT. Okay, so ganun yung logic nito, guys. Ha? Okay, your EBIT multiplied by, magkano yung tax rate? 40%. So ibabawas natin tax rate na 40%, ang matitira na lang yung 60%. So that's your EBIT times 60%. Okay, that's 1 minus tax rate. Okay, so kakopy ko lang, guys, yung EBIT dito. Okay. That's your EBIT. Ito naman 2019, ito yung EBIT natin. Okay. Iba yung format niya. Okay, then our tax rate here is, di ba, pwede natin lagyan na tax rate. Percent. Okay, notice, guys, na hindi ko tinype pa, is equal to tax rate. Okay, ang kagandahan nga pa rin yan, guys, suppose it change, no? Suppose ginawa natin itong 30%. Okay, if this was 30%, automatic, guys, magbabago yan. Yan yung nagbago siya, no? Nagbago siya kasi ito, saan yung tax natin? Ito, nakalink siya dun sa tax rate na yon. Okay, yung tax rate na to, 30%. Okay, so any change here, guys, automatically your model will change. Okay, so that's why it's always good in modeling, do not type absolutes, no? Okay, notice hindi natin linagay dito na, hindi natin linagay na C86 times 0.4. Okay, we don't do that, we avoid doing that kasi pag nagbago yung tax rate, kunyari, guys, hahanapin natin kung saan natin pinagtatype yung 30% na yan. Okay, so let me just revert back to 40%. Okay, so our NOPAT will now be equal to our EBIT multiplied by 1 minus our tax rate. Okay, or kung gusto nyo guys, pwede rin 1 minus tax rate. Yan. Okay, we can do that. Okay, and as proven guys, yan ano, niyat natin 59,520, niyat natin 56,700. Okay, pause for a while muna ako guys. Then once you're done completing this, paki-chat kung okay na. Okay, thanks Sarah. Let's wait for the others. Kyla, thank you. Marco, salamat. No? Jubel, salamat. Kendrick, thank you. Okay, Caleb, thank you. Ariana, salamat din. Okay, sige, Sophia, thank you. I hope the others are also working on their worksheets. Denzil, salamat. Okay, Sophia, thank you. If you have any questions, guys, make sure to ask them while we're discussing this one, especially kung about this one yung question nyo. Okay, Kathleen, salamat din. No? Okay, so I think most of you have already gotten this. Okay, so let's go now to this very important measure. Okay, I'm not sure kung tatapos natin lahat. Let's see, let's efforts tayo. No? Free cash flow, guys. Ano yung free cash flow? Okay, so let me define what free cash flow is. Okay, free cash flow. Okay, free cash flow. This is cash flow available for distribution to investors. Okay, after deducting cash flow requirements for operations. Okay, so that's the general description of free cash flow. Kaya nga ang tawag sa kanya free, no? So these are cash flows available for distribution to investors after deducting cash flow requirements for operations. So pag na-deduct na natin guys yung requirement ng operations, then yung natitirang cash flow na yan, pwede nating i-distribute sa investors. And you know by now guys, pag sinabi natin investors, okay, ito yung mga ano natin, these are our shareholders and our creditors. Ba? Sila yung mga investors natin. So pagkatapos natin tanggalin yung cash flow na kailangan para sa operations, yung natitira na pwede natin i-distribute sa shareholders, that's called your free cash flow. Okay, so for example, ano ba yung gamit ng mga free cash flow? No? Okay, number one, interest payments. Okay, Kasi para sa ano yan, creditors, no? Number 2, a payment of principal. Okay. Number 3, ano pa kaya guys? 3 and 4, alam niyo yan. Kasi ito para sa creditors eh. No? How about yung 3 and 4? Para naman sa shareholders. Okay, correct. No? Thank you. Thank you, Carl. No? So for shareholders, okay, that will be, this will be distribution of dividends. And also, ito, number 4 is buyback of stocks, no? Or we call this treasury stock. Yung treasury stock, guys, yung ano yan, yung stocks na binili ulit ng ano, ng company sa market. Kunyari, si Jollibee, bibili niya yung sarili niyang stock sa stock market. Ang tawag doon treasury. And there's a reason for that, pero hindi pa natin explain ngayon dito, ano? Okay, and number 5, guys, will be cash flow requirements for non-operating activities. Okay. So yung mga cash flow requirements naman for non-operations, no? For non-operating activities. Gamit din, that's another use of free cash flow. Okay, clear so far to guys, itong concept ng free cash flow. We'll have we will discuss this in greater detail later on, no? Itong concept ng free cash flow. Okay, how do we compute now for the free cash flow? Okay, to compute for the free cash flow, kailangan muna natin yung NOPAT. So dito natin gagamitin guys yung NOPAT. No? We need to have the NOPAT. NOPAT, okay, that's the net operating profit after tax. Tapos, sabi natin, free cash flow is after deducting cash flow requirements for operations. So, ibabawas natin yung net investment in operating capital. Okay, balikan natin ng konti yun. Asan yung net investment natin in operating capital? This one. Okay. Di ba sabi natin, for 2020, ang total operating capital is 661. Noong 2019, or at the beginning of the year, it was 630. So, kailangan natin ng additional na 31,500. Okay? So, this is your investment in operating capital. Ito yung sinasabi natin dito yun. After deducting requirements for operations. So, ang kailangan natin for operations for the year is 31,500. How did we get this? Additional, no? Additional. 661,500 for the end of 2020, 630 for the beginning of 2020. The difference is 31,500. That's the additional requirement for cash flow requirement for operations. Okay. Therefore, guys, balikan natin tong free cash flow formula natin. We will start with NOPAT. Okay. So net income after tax, net operating profit after tax. So for 2020, it's this one. Yeah. Okay. Then, how much is the additional operating capital natin? So that's your investment in TOC. This one. Yeah. Okay. Therefore, our free cash flow is simply the difference. This minus this. That's our free cash flow. That's the cash flow available for distribution to our shareholders and our lenders. Okay, any questions, guys? Clear tayo so far? Questions? O, clear ba? Paki-chat na lang kung yes. Okay, good. Salamat. Yung iba, guys? Alright. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for your response. No? Okay. balikan na natin to, no? So ang free cash flow natin 28,020, no? Babalikan natin kung saan ginagamit tong free cash flow. In the meantime, guys, what we want to do is ask the question. Okay ba yung performance ng ano? Okay ba yung performance ng kay Kendrick? TOC is total operating capital. Ito 'yon. Ito. TOC is this one. Ito. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go back to the concept of ROIC, Return on Invested Capital. Okay, ang pag-uusapan natin dito ganito. Okay, di ba kinumpute natin kanina magkano operating capital? Kasi yun ang i-ano natin, yun ang i-assess natin. Ano yung ginawa ng management dun sa operating capital na yun? Okay ba yung performance nila? Okay, so that's what we're trying to answer now. Given this operating capital, what results did management generate? Is it good or is it bad? Okay, now take note ngayon, ang tinitingnan natin mga operating capital. Para hindi sabihin ng management na, bakit nyo sa amin inaano yung kahit na hindi operating capital? Okay, wala naman kaming control doon. Diba? So that's why we were measuring it from the operations perspective. Para ma-test talaga natin, ma-check natin kung okay ba yung performance ng operations. Okay. So we begin with this concept, ROIC, Return on Invested Capital. Okay. Ang kwento ganito. Take note dito, sabi, no PAT divided by TOC beginning capital. Ano kaya yung logic dito, no? So kailangan maintindihan natin tong formula na to para para for us to better appreciate kung paano tinetest or paano ina-assess yung management about their performance. Okay, alam natin si NOPAT, di ba? NOPAT is net operating profit after tax. In fact, naging fair tayo doon, no? Kasi tinanggal natin yung interest expense. If you recall, guys, si NOPAT, that's your EBIT, and then tinanggal natin yung implication, yung tax niya, 1 minus tax, to get your net operating profit after tax. Hindi natin kinarga yung interest expense dyan. Tinanggal natin yung interest expense. Okay? Would the ROIC be? Yes, oo. Percentage yan, Syra. It's a percentage. Okay. So, balikan natin yung kwento natin, ha? Okay. May tatanungin ako sa inyo, guys, no? At the beginning of the year, nung January 1, 2021, how much capital was given to management? How much capital was given to management? Operating capital. 661. Ang question natin, at the beginning of the year, no? January 1, binigyan si management ng operating capital. Operating capital was provided to management. How much was that? Anyone, guys? Madali lang yan. Beginning capital lang. Lagyan natin ang date. January 1, 2020. Okay. Magkano operating capital ang binigay sa management? Anyone, guys? Andiyan yan, guys. Nakuha na natin kanina yan. How much, guys, was operating capital given to management at the beginning of the year? It's there. Andiyan, no? Kitang-kita ako. Hello, guys. How much was total operating capital at the beginning of the year? Thank you, Aaron. Pero yung 31,500, that's a difference, no? That's the difference between the operating capital. So ang beginning niya guys, ito 630, di ba? Ayan, ito guys. 630 guys is how much operating capital was there. Okay, thank you Marco. Nung January 1. So beginning to, no? Beginning. End ng 2019 to eh. Okay, so this was the total operating capital at the beginning of the year. 630. Okay. So ayun natin yung kwento ano lang natin yung kwento. What's the story behind this? So management was given 630,000 at the beginning of the year. Bakit ang ginagamit natin at the beginning of the year? O kasi kung at the end of the year, dulo na yon, di ba? So, ang kwento niyan, okay, January 1, bibigyan namin kayo ng beginning capital ng 630. Anong ginawa nyo for the whole duration of 2020? Sa buong taon, ano na-generate nyo? So, this beginning capital ng 630 generated for operations, for management, ano? So, ang titingnan natin guys, magkano yung NOPAT, no? NOPAT na na-generate nito. Okay, binigyan sila ng 630 na TOC, Total Operating Capital. Okay? Magkano yung NOPAT na na-generate nila? Magkano guys? Magkano? Give me a figure guys. How much was operating profit for 2020? Okay, pakisabi na lang please.
59,520.
Yeah, thank you Shaira. Thank you. It's 59,520. Okay? So, I hope you're getting the story guys, no? Then, oops. NOPAT 59,520. Okay, operating profit guys so fair, di ba? Hindi net income after tax. Kasi yung net income after tax, binabawas yung interest dun eh. So operating profit, mas mataas siya kaysa net income after tax. Especially kung may interest, no? 59,520. Okay, ito yung na-generate nila ng operating profit. Ito yung binigay sa kanila ng capital. So ganun yung ano guys, ganun yung konsepto nito. So how much was the return on invested capital? Okay, so management was provided with this operating capital. How much was the return? Di kunin na natin yung ratio nito. Out 59,520 ang operating profit na na-generate out of the 630,000 na na operating capital na binigay. No? Okay, yung ibang ginagawa guys, by the way, no, yung ibang ginagawa, kinukuha yung average ng TOC beginning at saka ending, which is also fair enough, no? Fair enough. Kasi yung 630 sa simula, 661 sa dulo, ina-average yan usually, no? For our purposes, ang kukunin lang natin yung beginning. So again, ang kwento, at the beginning of the year, binigyan si management ng 630. Anong ginawa niya doon? Anong ginawa ng management doon? Nakapag-generate siya ng operating profit na 59,520. Okay? So we can now compute for our ROIC, Return on Invested Capital. Okay. Syra, paki-ano na lang, paki-share sa lahat, no? So our NOPAT is, okay, yeah, 9.4%. How did you get 9.4%, Syra?
59,520 divided by 630,000.
Yes, okay, that's correct, no? 630,000. Yung beginning guys ang ginamit natin but strictly speaking, it should be the average. For the whole year, nag-average 630 divided by 661. But for our purposes, we'll just use the beginning capital. Therefore, this is, yan. So, 9.4%, 9.45%. This is the ROIC. Okay? This is the ROIC. Return on invested capital. Again, ang kwento, at the beginning of the year, magkano yung operating capital na binigay? 630. Anong ginawa nila dyan? How much was operating profit generated? 59,520. Okay? Why are we using NOPAT and not NIAT? Kasi NIAT, guys, may interest expense yun. Hindi naman controlled ng operations yun eh. So you see, patas lang to, no? A very good way to assess the performance of management of operations. They generated operating profit worth 59,520 from the capital na 630 na binigay sa kanila. 9.45%. Okay, tanong guys, tanong. Okay? Tanong. Is this good or bad? Okay ba to? Profitable ba? Yes guys or no? Yes or no please guys? Okay, what's your guess? What's your assessment? If I were to ask you, is this performance okay? Is a 9.4 performance acceptable? Yes or no? Okay, guys, I have a few more minutes. Paki-ano na lang. Yes, okay, yes, pretty good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kendrick. Thank you, Syra. Sophia, thank you. Okay. Others, guys? Come on, let's keep it coming, guys. Let's keep it coming. Yung ano nyo, yung guess nyo. Okay. Others, guys? Aaron, yes, thank you. Okay, Aryan, Sophia, yes then. Okay. A few more, guys. A few more. Come on. 9.4%. Janela, thank you. All right. Okay, let's answer that, guys. Is this good? Is this good? I think you know the answer, guys. I think you know the answer if this is good or not. The answer, guys, if this is good or not, is that it's depend. It's, yan ninali ko na yung grammar ko, guys. It's depend, no? It's depend on what, guys? Answer, guys, it's depend on, come on, you know the answer, guys. It's depend on the, okay. Ayun, tingnan natin, ha? Ayun, very good, very good. It's depend on the, always, it's depend on the weighted average cost of capital. Yan. Diba? Babalik at babalik tayo dyan. Okay? Thank you, Syra. Thank you, Kendrick. No? It's the weighted average cost of capital. Ang tanong, how much is the weighted average cost of capital? Okay, if the weighted average cost of capital is less than 9.4, very good yung performance. Otherwise, guys, if it's not, then value was not being created. If the WACC is 8%, katulad nito, no? Sabi dito, assume that the WACC was 8%, was value created? Yes. Value was created because the ROIC, 9.45%, is greater than the WACC, which is 8%. If the WACC was 10%, then was value created? No. Value, in fact, was destroyed. Okay? Value, in fact, was destroyed. Okay. All right. Let me tapusin lang natin itong EVA, guys, kasi importante ito. Babalikan na lang natin to next week ulit, pero i-compute muna natin dito, no? Okay. So another way to say if okay yung ano natin project, okay yung performance is by computing for the EVA, economic value added. Okay, ganito yung kwento niya, na. Take a look at the formula, guys. NOPAT, alam natin, di ba? Operating profit. Magkano generate na operating profit? Tapos, tingnan nyo to, guys, no? Paano na-generate yung profit na yan? Binigyan sila ng, ng TOC. Pero yung TOC na yan, guys, hindi libre yan. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na OC. Ano yan, guys? Ano yung concept ng OC? Ibig sabihin, sino nagbigay nitong TOC na to? It was provided by investors, no? Shareholders and lenders. They could have placed their money elsewhere. So what do you call this, guys? What do you call this? OC? It's your... Anyone, guys? Guys, 1 minute na lang, ha? Sorry for a bit of extension. Ano yung OC, guys? Yes. OC is operating capital. Kendrick, malapit na, no? Malapit na. Pero hindi siya operating capital. Concept to sa, sa economics, no? OC. It's your, sabihin ko na, ha? It's your yan. Meron tayong tinatawag na opportunity cost, no? Okay, thank you, Erin. You're correct, no? Syra, it's not over-collateralization. Okay, tama si Erin, no? Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kendrick, for answering. Thank you, Erin. No? You got it? Opportunity cost. So yung TOC guys na 630, hindi libre yan. No? Ibig sabihin, the investors could have used that money elsewhere. Okay, so i-compute natin quickly guys. EVA, babalikan natin to next week, next meeting, no? Pero NOPAT is, copy ko na lang dito, 59,520. Okay? TOC, how much was TOC? 630. 630, okay? And then what's our EVA? Bigyan natin dito, sige, okay na. Okay. So, our EVA is the NOPAT minus, magkano yung cost, guys? Magkano yung opportunity cost ng mga investors? 630 times, okay, yung WACC. Okay? In other words, guys, we will charge management with the use of the capital. Magkano i-charge natin sa kanila? 8%, no? Kasi hindi naman libre yung capital na yan eh. Okay, so when we deduct the NOPAT to the cost of capital, you have this, 9120. Okay, was value created, guys? One last question. Was value created? Yes. If the EVA, economic value added, is positive, then value was created. Okay, and that was shown also in ROIC. ROIC is 9.45%, WACC is 8%, mas mataas yung ROIC kaysa sa WACC, then value was created. And that's also reinforced dito sa measure ng EVA. Okay? So, I'll stop there, guys.